Hey, Songtown, I'm Clay Mills here with Marty Dodson. And we're going to talk about today a couple of our personal stories about taking a song from the notebook to the Billboard charts. And if you've ever felt like you're grinding away, you're working hard, you're writing songs, but the world doesn't seem to know they exist, well, this is for you because we've both been there. And we just thought we'd share a couple of stories about how we had a song from the beginning, just an idea, to the journey to the Billboard chart. So, Marty.
Awesome.
Making you start.
All right, very good. Well, the day that I wrote Must Be Doing Something Right, that Billy Currington recorded, Jason Matthews and I had been working on a different song for 2 days, and we spent probably 6 hours the first day and got maybe a verse and a chorus, and came back the second day. We were working, got to be about 1 o'clock, and he said, let's go to lunch, because we were getting frustrated. And
that fixes everything. Lunch.
It does, yeah. At least eases the pain. And so on the way back from lunch, he said, do you like that song we're working on? And I said, no, but I thought you liked it. And he said, I don't like it. And so we realized we were working on a song for 2 days that neither of us really liked. And so Jason said, well, let's write a song people can make out to. There's nothing on the radio that's like a make-out song. And I said, well, what are you thinking? And he starts singing, woman is a mystery, man just can't understand. And I think I came in with the next line, and we just took off on this idea of like, I must be doing something right.
So how long did it take to write it?
It probably took an hour and a half maybe.
Do you think if you hadn't have been working for 2 days up to that point that would have happened like that? Like,
no, I don't, because it felt like we, when we gave up on that other idea, it was such a breath of fresh. I mean, it was like a relief to both of us, and I think we're just like, okay, we got nothing to lose now. Let's just write something we're excited about and that we're passionate about. And we had been talking about how much we loved R&B kind of music and how that wasn't happening in country music much anymore. Conway Twitty used to do that, and different artists used to have some R&B flavored stuff. And so when we started that, it was like, oh, this is cool. This just feels great to be rid of this idea that was almost like a burden on us, And I think about that every time I'm in a situation where I'm writing something and I'm going, is this good? I don't know if it's good. I try to.
You weren't even worried if it was good. You were just enjoying the process.
Well, I mean, the first one.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
A lot of times I've looked back on my career and I go, man, I just pushed to finish things that weren't great. And I knew they weren't great. If I just admitted it to myself and to my co-writers, hey, do we like this? So one of the things I learned from that was, to check in with my co-writers, like, is everybody feeling good about this? Or, are we excited about what's going on? And if they're not, I want to stop and evaluate whether we need to stick with that idea or if we need to find something else. Yeah. But the story of that song is one of the crazier ones, so we wrote it really quickly. I turned it into my publisher. They went crazy. And we just had a work tape of Jason singing it. He's a great singer and guitar player.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, a work tape is just basically like playing a guitar or piano and singing, maybe recorded into an iPhone. I don't know if the iPhone was around when you wrote that song, but just a very basic recording to let you know it's kind of like a working title for a movie. It could be in progress or it could be something that's good, but just hasn't been demoed yet.
Yeah, so I literally had GarageBand on my computer, so I hit record and Jason just played it and sang it, And so I turned it to my publisher. They went crazy over it. They were like, we got to get this to the label for Billy Currington. They went to the label, I think that day.
Were you thinking Billy Currington when you were writing it?
No, in that instance, we were just trying to write a great song.
Yeah.
And another piece of that story is not long before that, Billy Currington and I had written one day, and he was waiting on a ride outside my publishing company. We were sitting on the curb talking, and he said, man, I think I might lose my record deal. And I said, well, I think I might lose my writing deal. And so that song became the first number one for both of us and for Jason just months after that. But so my publisher took it either that afternoon or the next morning to the label. They loved it and put it on hold. From what they told us, they played it for Billy, and he was like, I'm not sure about this. And they talked him into, oh, no, this is a hit. You need to record it. And so maybe 4 weeks later, it was on the radio.
Wow.
They cut it really quickly and put it out. And
I've never seen it happen that fast.
Yeah, that's the only time in my career. And then it took a year for it to get to number one. So it was on the chart about 52 weeks.
Yes, that's what you want. Cha-ching. Like if it takes that long to go up the charts, it's been playing on radio a long time.
Yeah. So that's the story. I mean, it literally went from working on a song we were so frustrated with to just writing a song that we loved and felt good about, and then lo and behold, everybody else felt the same way.
And you thought you might lose your deal. Billy Currington thought he might lose his deal. And one song changed all of that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So my story, I'll start with, since you told a story about your first number one song, I'll talk about mine. It's a song called Beautiful Mess. So I'd been watching movies, and I had this habit of every time I'd hear something in the movie I liked, I'd write it down. And I heard the phrase like 2 or 3 times, beautiful mess. And I wrote that down in my notebook of ideas. And my co-writer shows up. I had 2 co-writers, Shane Miner, who was an artist, Sonny Lemaire, great songwriter, Hall of Fame songwriter. He comes in, he goes, I got this idea, beautiful mess. And I'm like, you're kidding. I got this on my notepad too. So we thought it was meant to be. So basically, I just put on a drum loop and we were clowning around, having fun, kind of like, well, what would the Red Hot Chili Peppers do? And it's like, going out of my mind these days. And we were just laughing. And then we were like, so I grabbed the guitar and started putting chords to it. And we wrote it to that drum loop, chords. And it was really cool. And we were excited, did a work tape, took it to play for Sonny's publisher. And he turned it off like halfway through the chorus. He's like, guys, this is never going to be any good. He's like, the chorus is, I've heard it before and, just didn't like the song at all. And so I was pissed. It was the only time I ever got mad, I think, at a publisher. I mean, we had the artist there who was thinking about, he likes the song.
Shane, right?
Shane Miner. And he's the publisher's tearing the song apart. Mm-hmm. And I was furious, man. I stormed out of there. And so anyway, Shane still loved the song. And we all believed in it. But then Faith Hill put it on hold. And she had it on hold for a year and a half. Oh. And finally, my publisher said, well, enough is enough. Because the producer that had it on hold, Dan Huff, produced Faith Hill, but he also was producing Shane. And so my publisher is like, I think he's trying to keep it for Shane's deal. And so my publisher hands it to Diamond Rio. Man, everybody was mad. My publisher did not make any friends that day, but Diamond Rio cut the song, goes on to be a number one song, the same story, 59 weeks to get to number one, fell back to number 3, then went to number 1 again. Wow. So it was a long time playing, one of the most played songs that year. Mm-hmm. So it just shows you, like, sometimes you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it was a year and a half on hold with this big artist, and then this other band cuts it and has a number 1 hit. Logic would say give it to Faith Hill because she's the bigger artist at the time.
Right.
But yeah. And I mean, I'm the same way as you. It was my first number 1 song. And my prior deal, I had gotten fired. I got dropped from my deal on Christmas Eve. And of all the times, I got a pink slip in the mail that basically says, we're not picking up your option. And So I went through that 6 months trying to find another publishing deal. So to have a number one song fall out, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. Did people change their tune about your publisher? Were they a little happier after that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, much happier.
They're probably like, oh, we knew that was the right decision. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I could understand from Shane, the artist, his point of view is I'm a writer. I want the song for myself. Sonny Lemaire and I, the other two writers, we're like, we got to keep our deals, Yeah. I mean, Sonny had already had like 13 number one songs. He was doing all right. But he hadn't had a hit in a while, so he needed it too. But yeah, I mean, so can be tricky. We've all had songs that artists have fought over and,
Yeah.
But so we're saying all this for you guys to go, even when you're at your darkest, something good can happen on any day. If you're writing, you can write a song that changes your life, right?
Yeah. I mean, my first publisher always said, half the battle is putting your butt in the chair and
showing up.
What he meant was just keep on showing up, keep on doing the work, and good things will happen, And from my experience, I learned, that second day I didn't want to go. I thought about like, is there any reason I can call and cancel? But I went and just put my butt in the chair and I worked on that other song until we finally had that discussion, and then we wrote a life-changing song, So I think the moral of the story is, if you're writing something you don't love, ditch it and write something you do, but also just keep on with this attitude of every day as a songwriter could be a day that changes your life.
And I've seen it the other way. I've had friends that were supposed to show up and write with two other people, and they didn't feel like going to write that day, and the two other people write a song that becomes a big hit. Yeah. So you're right. Showing up, and just grinding it out every day, writing, and stick with it,
Yeah, it can be discouraging, but like Clay said, even when your darkest point of like things are not going good, I'm not making any progress, that next song could be the one.
And I mean, I can't tell you, like I had, you interviewed Rivers Rutherford. I interviewed several people in past podcasts where literally when they were at their darkest and they felt like maybe I should give this up, something good happens.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because they felt like, well, in a way, that act of letting go can be important. Like you let go of that bad song you were working on and just allowed what was supposed to happen. But just so many times I've heard that same story as I was applying to law school. I was going to quit the music business, or I was going to go to med school. Brett James, one, legendary writer in Nashville, was literally had packed up his bags and moved back home and was going to go to law school. And then all of a sudden 30 people that year cut his songs, and he's like, well, I got to get back to Nashville.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content, hit the subscribe button and help us grow. Shout out to Sweetwater Music. It's where Marty and I get all our musical gear. Great people. We'll see you guys around town. Right on.